Hello and welcome to another overclocking video. Today I am going to show you step-by-step how you can overclock a Ryzen 7 CPU with onboard graphics and at the same time improve temperatures and power draw. We will be using the Ryzen 7 5700G and we will overclock the CPU cores as well as the onboard graphic cores. If you are here only for the CPU overclocking because you use a dedicated GPU, you can just ignore the GPU overclocking settings. Now, the results, values, and settings may be a bit different for some of you depending on the CPU, motherboard, RAM, and CPU cooler, so you may not see exactly the same results. We will be testing productivity and gaming performance while monitoring speeds and temperatures of the Ryzen 7 5700G. For cooling, we will be using a 240mm AIO from Corsair, but if you have a decent air cooling solution, you may also get good results. As you may already know, Ryzen CPUs perform better with faster dual-channel RAM configuration, especially Vega APUs, which will gain double the performance when running in dual-channel mode. So, make sure that you have at least 2 sticks of RAM in dual-channel configuration. Now, first I recommend getting back to the stock settings of your motherboard, in case you have already changed some settings. First, you need to turn DOCP or XMP profile on, in order to match the rated RAM speeds and timings. We will do some benchmarks with stock settings to have a starting point and some measurements. We will, of course, set the cooling to max performance in order to have fair comparison between all scenarios. Running Cinebench, we achieved 13,753 points in multi-core performance and 1,448 in single-core performance. The single-core performance boost clock was at 4.65 GHz, and the all-core performance boost clock hovered around 4.4 GHz, while the temperatures reached a maximum of 58 degrees Celsius. Running time SPI for CPU only, we got 8,532 points, and for gaming performance running Night Raid, we got 16,397 points combined. Now we boot into BIOS and start tweaking. We will do it the easy way, meaning we will make use of the AMD's PBO technology, which, from my experience, is much easier to do. PBO technology has improved a lot since it first came out, so in many cases it is faster, more efficient, and more stable than a manual OC for this kind of overclocking. We start from the CPU cores by going into AMD overclocking settings, set PBO to advanced, set limits to motherboard, set the curve optimizer to all cores, negative and set to 25, set boost clock override to positive 200 MHz, and last, set the V-core voltage to about 1.34 volts, save and restart into Windows. When running Cinebench, the immediate observation is the additional 200 MHz all-core overclock, which reached approximately 4.6 GHz during rendering. The maximum temperature recorded was around 61 degrees Celsius. In terms of performance, it achieved 14,503 points in multi-core and 1,523 points in single-core. Furthermore, the single-core boost clock has now been elevated to 4.85 GHz, as indicated by hardware info. Running time SPI for CPU, we got this time 8,716 points, and running Night Raid, we got 16,553 points. In this graph, we can see that we have faster clocks and much lower temperatures compared to stock performance. So far, so good. Now let's overclock the onboard graphics as well. There are 2 ways we can do that. Either overclock it manually or use again the PBO for the APU. You just go to Precision Boost settings again and set it to plus 200 MHz. Using PBO on the APU, we see here that it performed much better, and clock was now indeed 200 MHz faster. Comparing the diagrams to stock, we see the performance gains, as well as the clocks and temperatures of the APU. Now we will manually set the frequency and adjust the voltage. Normally you would work your way up adjusting 50 MHz, but I already did that and found values that are stable. First, we go to clock frequency and set it at 2,400 MHz and set the core voltage to 1.25 volts. Save and restart into Windows. Running the benchmark again, we got 17,348 points, and comparing all the graphs, we can see the impact in FPS performance. Not bad considering it's a free performance boost. So what we achieved here? On the CPU part, we managed to extract some extra performance from our CPU basically for free, while improving its efficiency. I think that this is something definitely worth doing, if your motherboard and CPU cooler allows it, of course. Overclocking the APU of the Ryzen 7 5700G, we also did gain some extra free performance, which can make a difference. As a small bonus, and out of curiosity, I installed a faster RAM and retested. I got an amazing 18,941 points, which is the world's best score for night raid, using the Ryzen 7 5700G APU. And with that said, I want to thank you for watching this video, and I hope it will help you get some extra performance out of your PC. If you have any questions, I would be glad to answer them in the comments below. Also, you can leave a comment telling me about your experience and results. Hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more overclocking videos. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms where we post extra content. See you on the next one.